Hello everyone, welcome to the channel IGCSE and GCSE Maths School channel. I have brought an interesting question today to you. Today's video is actually on a question on upper bound and lower bound. Here is the question: can you find upper bound and lower bound of these? Look at this here. Question is, if A equals C times B plus D, where C equals 20 to nearest 10, B equals 15 to the nearest unit, D equals 4 to the nearest unit. Find upper bound and lower bound of A and range of A, right? Okay, now look at this one here. Now the question is this. Look at the question. There's a statement, there's an equation here. A is equal to C times B plus D. C has to be multiplied by this whole block of B plus D, right? Okay. Now, this is actually can you see that there is a product here? This is a product of two terms. This is one term. This is one term. This is the other term, right? Okay. Then one term is C, other term is B plus D. Then here actually we have done this theory part. That is how to find. Here it is a product. You have to find how to find the upper bound and lower bound of product. We have done it. We have done in one of the videos, and go to the playlist rounding off and upper bound and lower bound. Rounding of numbers and upper bound and lower bound. Go to the playlist and look at the video. Look for the video upper bound and lower bound of a product of two numbers. Then you will get the theory part there, right? Anyhow, now here you have one important thing that you have to understand here is that this A is a product of two terms. A is the product of C and B plus D. Then we are asked to find the upper bound and lower bound of A. That means we are asked to find the upper bound and lower bound of a product. Product is the result that you get after multiplying one number by another number. That's the result of multiplying another number by one number. One number by another number. If you multiply one number by another number, you get the product. Product is that right here. Then here this means A equals C multiplied by this whole block of terms B plus D. So now you know how to find the upper bound and upper bound of product. Upper bound of a product equals what? The product of upper bounds. Product of upper bounds of the two numbers that you multiply, of the more numbers that you multiply, get the product of upper bound, right? Now you apply that to this one. The lower bound of a product, you know this, lower bound of a product equals what? Product of lower bounds of the numbers that are multiplied. Okay. Therefore, we have to find the upper bound of C and upper bound of B plus D to find the upper bound of A. Therefore, upper bound of A equals upper bound of C multiplied by upper bound of B plus D, following this first equation. Right. Therefore, we have to find the upper bound of B, upper bound of D, and upper bound of C. You will find that. Okay. Now write upper bounds, right? Upper bound of C. Upper bound of C they have got. What is the upper bound of C? Upper bound of, upper bound of whatever single number equals upper bound of a single corrected value equals upper bound of single corrected value equals corrected value plus degree of accuracy over 2. So this is the principle. So therefore we will find the upper bound of C. Upper bound of C then C upper bound equals how much? Corrected value of C, 20, plus degree of accuracy to which that value of 20 has been written, value of C has been written, that is 10. Then 10 divided by 2. So this is the answer. Then you get here upper bound of C as 25. Okay. Now, then you have to find the upper bound of B. Upper bound of B. Upper bound of B. Upper bound of B. Upper bound of B, again same as this one. Upper bound equals, what is that? Corrected value plus degree of accuracy of 2. Same principle applies. So the corrected value of B is 15. That is to the nearest unit. That means nearest unit means if the number has been corrected nearest unit, then degree of accuracy to be used in the upper bound and lower bound formula is 1. That is 1 over 3 degree of accuracy. Then 15 and a half. 15.5. Okay, next one. Then the upper bound of D. You write D. These are all upper bounds. Upper bound of D. Right. Upper bound of D. Then we get what is the corrected value plus degree of accuracy of 2? Upper bound of D. Corrected value is 4. That is 4. Then plus degree of accuracy there is the nearest unit. That is also 1 then. Alright. Then when the degree of accuracy is 1 nearest unit, then the degree of accuracy to be used with the upper bound and lower bound formula is 1. Then 4 plus then this one 4.5. Okay, that is also right. Now, okay, now we can find the upper bound of this one. This is the upper bound of B plus D, first of all. No doubt, upper bound of B plus D. B plus D, upper bound equals how much? Upper bound of B plus D, you know, this is a sum. We have done one video on how to find the upper bound and lower bound of a sum. Go to the playlist, rounding of numbers and upper bound and lower bound, right? And there we have done the video on upper bound of sum. How to find the upper bound of sum? Upper bound of sum equals upper bound then sum of the upper bounds. Upper bound of the sum equal sum of the upper bounds. Then sum of the upper bounds of B and D. What is the upper bound of B? We have calculated here. Upper bound of B. What is that? That is 415.5 plus then what is the upper bound of D? Upper bound of D is 4.5. 4.5, right? Okay. Now, what is the answer of this one? 15.5 plus 4.5 is 20. That is the upper bound of B plus D. Upper bound of sum of B and upper bound of sum of two numbers is equal to sum of the upper bounds of two numbers. This is the upper bound of B. This is the upper bound of D. At those times, you get the upper bound of B plus D. Right. Now we can find the upper bound of A here. Now upper bound of what? A. Upper bound of A. Upper bound of is a product. Product of upper bound of product equals product of upper bounds of the numbers multiplied. Here, what are the numbers here multiplied? This and this. Then you get the upper bound of this into upper bound of C into upper bound of what? B plus D. Okay. Now we know the upper bound of C. What is the upper bound of C? Upper bound of C, upper bound 25. Write it here. 25. Then into. Then upper bound of B plus D. B plus D. Upper bound of B plus D. What is B plus D? B plus D upper bound is 20. All right. Multiply those two together. Right. Then answer will be 20 times 5 is 100. Put 0. 10 is left. Then 20 times 2. 40. 40 plus 10. 50. 500 is the upper bound of A. Right? Yes. Okay. Now the lower bound. We write the lower bound here. Lower bound. Now lower bound. Then how do you find the lower bound of product here? Here A means the product of two terms here. Then how do you find the lower bound of product of two terms? That is has already been done in one of the videos. That is lower bound of a product. Go to the playlist rounding of numbers and upper bound and lower bound, and you get the video and watch it and come to this part. Otherwise, you'll find it hard to understand, right? To prevent any difficulty in understanding, first watch that video and come right. Okay. Then here A equals, right, then equals C into B plus D. This is a product of two terms. To find the lower bound of product of two terms, what you do is you multiply the lower bounds of the product of the two lower bound. We multiply the lower bound of the two numbers multiplied. Then if you want to find the lower bound of A, get the lower bound of C and get the lower bound of B plus D and multiply those two. That is all you have to do. Right now, we will do that, and we need to find lower bound of A. We need the lower bound of C. Then go to lower bound of C. Lower bound of C. Lower bound of C. That is how to find the lower bound of lower bound formula. What is lower bound formula? How to find what is the formula to find the lower bound of a single corrected value? That is corrected value minus degree of accuracy over 2. Right. Lower bound equals corrected value minus degree of accuracy over 2. Now lower bound, then find the lower bound of C. Then lower bound of C equals corrected value is given C 20. Corrected value of C is 20. Then minus degree of accuracy of 20 is 10, because that value 20 is to the nearest 10. So therefore 10 is the degree of accuracy. Therefore 10 divided by 2 equals 25. So equals 15. There 15, right? Okay. 20 minus 5. Then you have to get the lower bound of B, because we know the lower bound of B plus you have to get the lower bound of this and lower bound of this and multiply to get the lower bound of A, because the lower bound of product is the product of lower bounds of the numbers multiplied. So therefore B plus D. Then here it is, you have to get the lower bound of this whole block and lower bound of C and multiply. To get the lower bound of this whole block, that is the addition. You have to get the lower bound of an addition. Lower bound of an addition. We have done a video on the lower bound of sum. Actually, addition means sum. We have done the video on the lower bound and upper bound of sum. There you have learned that. Go to the playlist, the rounding of numbers and upper bound and lower bound, and watch that video. That is upper bound and lower bound of sum. That is the name of the video, title of the video, right? Then what's the term? We learn in that video like this: B plus D. B plus D is the it's a sum of two terms. To find the lower bound of sum of two corrected values is equal to the sum of the lower bounds of the two corrected values. Then lower bound of sum of two numbers is equal to the sum of the lower bounds of the two numbers. Right. Then go to the B plus D. We get this one B plus D. Then to find the lower bound of this B plus D, we have to add the lower bounds of B and D. We have to add the lower bounds of B to lower bounds of D to get the lower bound of B plus D, lower bound of sum. Therefore, we want to find the lower bound of B and the lower bound of D. Therefore, write loss B lower bound, B lower bound, B lower bound. Then again, the lower bound of single number, that is corrected value minus degree of accuracy over 2. Same principle, same formula applies. Then go to lower bound and corrected value of B. How much? Corrected value of B 15 minus the degree of accuracy over 2. What is the degree of accuracy of 15? That is unit. Unit means 1. When the number has been corrected to a nearest unit, then what should be taken as the degree of accuracy to calculate the upper bound or lower bound to be used in the lower bound upper bound formula is 1 over 2. Right, then this one 15 minus half means 14.5. Okay, that is the lower bound. Okay, then the upper bound. Then upper bound. Sorry, then lower bound, the other one is D. Lower bound of D. D. Lower bound of D. We need lower bound of D. Lower bound of D is how much? The value of D has been given. That is 4 to nearest unit. There also the degree of accuracy is 1. Corrected value is 4. 4 minus degree of accuracy 1 over 2 equals, that is 3.5. Okay, now we have all inputs that we need. Then we have to find this lower bound of what we call B plus D, lower bound. Lower bound, what do you do to find the B plus D? You add the lower bound of B and lower bound of D together. What is the lower bound of B? That is 14.5 plus what is the lower bound of D? That is 3.5. Then what do? You add those two together. You are getting how much? 18. You get 18, right? Okay. Then lower bound of B plus D is 18. Now we have the essential data to calculate the lower bound of A. Then lower bound of A equals, what is the formula for lower bound of a product? Lower bound of product equals product of lower bounds. Now get the lower bound of this into lower bound of this. Then lower bound of C into the lower bound of B plus D, right? Now you get the lower bound of C, lower bound of C, lower bound of C, lower bound of C, lower bound of C here. 15. What's that? Yes, lower bound of C, 15. Lower bound of C, 15. Into, then lower bound of B plus D. We calculate the lower bound of B plus D, that is 18. Put it here and multiply. Yes. Now 15. 18 multiplied by 15. Okay. Now 15 times 8, 120. 12 is left. 15 times 1, 15 plus 12, 27. 270. That is the lower bound. That is 270. Right. That is the lower bound of A. Okay. Then 15 times yes, 15 times 820 and yes, correct. Yes, 270. Then we are going to find the range. There's another part here. That is range. What is the range? Range is what? Always upper bound less than or equals actual value less than lower bound less than or equals actual value less than upper bound. Then you write that range. You get the lower bound here, 270 less than or equals, then actual value of A less than, what is that? Upper bound. What is the upper bound? 500. This is the answer. This is the other answer 1, answer 2, answer 3. That's all about that video. Then do this question several times and try to understand the mathematical concepts behind that, and watch other videos also, and stay with the channel. Daily videos are posted on this channel, so therefore stay with the channel and subscribe to the channel if you find this video is interesting, and wish you all the best, and thank you for watching until the end. Wish you good luck.